I hate this fucking country so much. You can be on a fucking mountain in the middle of Norway and get better internet than Los Angeles, California. And this is just like a moment of anger. This is a moment of fucking anger for like something that is just so routine, so silly, such a first world problem. But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
Hey guys, KinoFlex here. Can you believe that people actually electrocute their dogs like that? I can't. And the fact that people do makes me mad. It makes me so mad that I want to recommend 5 movies all about dogs to you guys so you can appreciate them more. My first film recommendation is Barking Dogs Never Bite. This is an early and underrated film from South Korean director Bong Joon-ho, who is best known for his 2019 film Parasite. It's a satire following a man who takes out his financial frustrations on dogs, which causes a sequence of events that turns his apartment complex upside down. I'm mentioning this film first because it has less to do with dogs and more so economic issues, but dogs still play a key role in the narrative as pets who help their owners cope with various emotional problems they may experience. If you can look past the dark subject matter, it's a fun viewing experience. My second film recommendation is called A Boy and His Dog. This is a post-apocalyptic dark comedy about a boy named Vic surviving with his dog named Blood in a nuclear wasteland, utilizing his dog's telepathic powers to be given a heads up of any potential danger. The film is notably low budget, but it still manages to evoke a lot of charm with a friendship between the main character and his dog. It also paved the way for other more well-known stories within its genre as a precursor to Mad Max, Fallout, and The Road. Though I will admit the film enters some really weird territory with a protagonist at one point being pressured into becoming a slave to an underground society by getting attached to an ejaculation machine. Yes, that's an actual plot point in the film.
We stay. Now, you got any helpful suggestions?
Yes, pull up your pants, Romeo.
My third film recommendation is called Isle of Dogs. This is a stop-motion animated Wes Anderson movie where all of the dogs of Japan are exiled to an island where all of their garbage is sent in fear of a deadly disease. And a young Japanese boy named Atari travels to the island to find his beloved dog Spots, only to find himself being held by a pack of stray dogs led by a dog who hates humans, but gradually grows to love them named Chief. Without telling you any more, I'm just going to say that this is a solid adventure story showcasing both dog and man's reliance on each other. It also helps that it's a Wes Anderson movie, so it looks beautiful all throughout. My fourth film recommendation is the Disney animated film Bolt. I would say this is one of the most underrated animated Disney movies to ever be released, because the premise is pretty much The Truman Show if Truman were a dog named Bolt. Bolt was raised into thinking that he was a dog with superpowers on the run from an evil organization trying to kill him and his owner, when in reality it's all just a TV show. One day, after thinking she was kidnapped, Bolt escapes from the studio in an attempt to try and save his owner, only to find out that his entire life was almost all pretty much a lie. And I say almost because even if his powers aren't real, the love his owner felt for him very much was, which is what motivates him to find her again with the help of a cat and a hamster. Part of the reason I think this film is so underrated is because a lot of the audience at the time probably wanted a straightforward superhero action movie that was similar to the show's premise in the movie, but that would make telling the story we got impossible. But even though it's not an action movie, it's still very much a fun family movie that makes you appreciate your pets more, so I strongly recommend it. Finally, my last film recommendation is called The Plague Dogs. For this last film, I'm going to take you guys in a much darker direction, because it can be pretty traumatic in its depictions of animal cruelty. But that is very much part of the point, so you can be against the practices depicted in the film. The story follows a small group of dogs escaping from a research facility that puts them through cruel tests, where they find themselves having to hunt and scavenge for food in the wild while evading capture at the same time. It's a very brutal film to be clear, but I feel that's worth bringing up to tie everything together with the clip I showed you in the beginning to communicate that animal cruelty was just as much of an issue back then than it is today. The core takeaway is that animal cruelty is committed by humans and can only be prevented by humans, so please, treat your pets nicely for God's sake. But hey, those are just my thoughts, and if you have any of your own, feel free to flex them off in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.